What's the most amount of orders you got to fulfill in one day, 0 day handling time? And did you make the cutoff?
I think it was
As I know
back to school.
some of your SKUs are like super high volume.
Yeah, so back to school, I think I did it was like 200 in one day. And it was on a Sunday.
E-commerce is the greatest business opportunity of our generation.
What is up, people? It's your boy Kaj. We are here with our friend Ashad. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How we doing?
Good. And as always, got my co-host Josh here with me as well.
What is going on, everybody? Great
Yes.
to be here today.
Yeah, so Ashad is actually local to us near, where are you at? King of Prussia, Norristown in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Right
Yeah, so about
there.
30 minutes from where we live in Southeast PA. But yeah, man, tell us what you are working on in your biz right now, and then we'll kind of get into your backstory.
Yeah, so right now, I would say 95% online arbitrage. That's kind of what I've been doing, especially with Q4 around the corner. Well, Q4 actually has begun. And
Yes.
I've dabbled into wholesale a little bit. I had one PO so far. And I think the goal, as I talked to you about it, Kaj, I think I want to move into more of a 50-50 split for Q1. So start getting into more suppliers, potentially even brand direct, brand exclusivity. And but yeah, right now OA, a little bit of wholesale, and then we'll see where it goes after that.
Solid. So how did you get into selling on Amazon, e-commerce in general? Because you're a little bit newer to selling on Amazon, for context for the viewers, right? Because we like to have on people, who are experienced, but we also like to have on people who are newer as well, just to give context from what different experiences are like.
Yeah, so I started about, I think, 6 months ago, coming up on 7 months. I was just honestly researching, right? So I knew what dropshipping was back in the day, and I was like, okay, this must be a scam. Like, I don't know if this is real or not. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but one day I got an ad from Will Riviera come up on my Instagram, and I was
Yep.
like, okay, what is this Amazon stuff? And I did a little bit more digging, and then I found Miles, and like I honestly at that point I kind of just found everyone in the community, and I was just like, you know what? Let me give it a try. Let's see what happens, because I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about how I want a side hustle. I feel like I have some free time after work at the gym, so let me think about doing something. So I invested into a mentorship, specifically Miles, and then after that, here we are, 6 months later, still going at it.
And so just for context, right now it's October 31st, so a third of the way through Q4. So 6 months, what does that put you at? Like April, March is when you started?
Actually, May. I would say literally I would consider I started selling like the last week of April, like literally the
Okay.
last week.
Got it.
So
Yeah,
was
so
that
it's
more
literally just
5
been a
months?
few months. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And so all OA, talk to us about what it was like getting started in OA. How did you find your first product to flip?
My first product was actually a fail. Funny enough, it was an RA. So I read the Keepa completely wrong, but I got it and I put it on a listing where the item was not the right color, but on the Keepa it was like decent in my eyes, and I thought it was the right product, so I bought it. Completely failed, all returns, but I learned from that moment, and then I started digging more into like Keepa research and how to properly understand Keepa. And then after that, first initial product, I think after that most of it was all profitable inventory. I think I've only had like 3 or 4 bad buys, which we all know when you first start out, you don't know what you're doing. You're kind of just sitting there like, okay, I'm just gonna buy this, buy that, and then you realize that you made no money or lost money.
Yeah,
That's funny because
absolutely.
I remember the very first flip that I had also was a total bust. It was back when we were doing RA, and Josh was always better at like doing sourcing, specifically RAOA. And he took me to a Marshalls or a Ross, one of those, just to like kind of get the lay of the land, learn how to source. And it was these Adidas pants, and they were very profitable, but they were 4XL. And so I mean, I didn't understand what a sales rank was. I wasn't even looking at Keepa. I don't even know if we had Keepa at that point. I think we
did.
were just we did.
It was just
okay.
on my phone, so it wasn't as good as
Right.
like a computer, unfortunately.
Yeah, we also didn't have SellerAmp. We were just using the Amazon app. And so I remember being like, oh, dude, this is super profitable. We got to get this. And Josh is like, I don't know if that's going to really sell. The sales rank isn't good for Excel. And I was like, there's got to be at least like 3 people in the country that would buy this.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, there's got to be at least like a handful of people. And Josh was like, I don't know, but try it. And we bought it, and I don't think it ever sold.
Yeah.
Ever. I think we donated it. But yeah, I just remember those first buys can definitely go wrong when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I realized that. I had to look into Keepa more when I realized the first buy was funny because on Amazon they looked like they were black, right? So I went to Nike, I had a Nike RA run, bought them from Nike, and I put them on Amazon, but it says a completely different color. It says it's like gray, but the picture showed it was black. So I was like, okay, this might work. And then I just get full-on returns, and it all says like shoes black. It says it's supposed to be particle gray or something. And I was like, oh, great. All returned.
Yep. Yeah, those listings with mismatched pictures and colors, brutal. In our experience, it's tough. You just kind of have to stay away because some people will go by the picture, some people will go by the title, but there's always going to be a higher return rate because of the confusion.
Exactly.
So
Josh, switching it over to you.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about is this business model like decently easy? Like, I mean, we kind of go through school and we're able to run through different classes, and like compared to school, was it really challenging starting like your own business for people who are like wanting to get started but maybe don't know how to like open an LLC and all that kind of stuff? Talk to us a little bit about like that and like how hard you found it and like how mentorship kind of helped you through the process of making your first profitable transaction on Amazon.
Yeah, so when I first started, I was actually nervous because I was like, I knew like the LLC part, I kind of just did my research, right? So I was like, all right, how do I open an LLC? Search that up on Google, figured that out, opened the LLC, and then when I opened the seller account, you have something called ungating. So I'm sitting there confused, like, okay, why can't I sell this? And I think within the first week of doing Amazon, I invested into a mentorship because I was like, you know what? I know I can, I want to get to a certain place faster than taking it slow. So I'm like, let me invest into something that will take me there much faster. So that's why I invested in a mentorship. And right when I joined the mentorship, I didn't learn much from the mentorship. It was just a community I built, right? So it was hard for like the first month, but then once I joined the mentorship, I met a lot of people. And I learned probably everything I know just from my network. Like how to read Keepa, how to tell if items profitable. Oh, buy this, buy that. So like most of my stuff that I bought in my first few months was all through network. Like I did my own sourcing and stuff, but most of it was just all network. That's literally how I grew my catalog and grew my business, was just knowing people in the industry. And I think that's what my first mentorship really helped me with. I think a lot of people will see a mentorship and they'll be like, oh, is this even worth it? Like, am I going to learn anything? But you need to think about, how they say, in order to make money, you have to spend money, right? I think in every business, there's a certain aspect of that. Where with Amazon, you just want to find someone that you like that has a mentorship and invest in their mentorship. And yes, you may not learn, how to do certain things from that mentorship, but you will build a network of people that can teach you and get you to the point of knowing mostly everything in that business model.
Yeah, 100%. Talk to us a little bit about the ungating and how that is working now. How long ago since you ungated in a brand? Has it been pretty recent, or talk to us a little bit about that.
I think the first month I just went through an ungating spree. So
okay, gotcha.
I guess any tip to anyone that starts Amazon, honestly, the first month just focus on ungating, because I feel like right now we're in a position where stuff is starting to get more difficult to ungate. They may want invoices from a year ago, or they want this, that. So I think the first thing
requests.
I think every new Amazon sellers should just start ungating. Like, open the seller account. Even if you think you're not going to start right away, it's better to have an account that has some age to it than you being like, okay, I'm going to start this in 2 months, but, I'll wait till then. Instead, just open it when you thought about the idea, because it doesn't hurt to open the account, right? And just start ungating. And, maybe 2 months in, you might even have some free ungates that just auto ungate for you because your account is a little bit old. So that would be my main thing, is just going through, understanding the main big brands that you can source and just going out and ungating them.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's so key. Go ahead, Kosh.
I was just going to say, just two things I wanted to point out for the listeners that Ashad mentioned. So one, Josh, when you asked him about like setting up the business, he was like, I Googled it. If you can figure out the answers to your own questions, you will be successful in business. That is 90% of the battle. When you have a question, go to the internet, and even better, if you're in like a networking group, like the Wholesale Network or someone else's mentorship, reach out to your network to figure out the answer to the question. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to give up now because I can't figure this out. And then two, like if you're thinking about selling on Amazon, open your account now. Start working on getting ungating, even if you don't have the capital to buy inventory. If you don't know how to source or all that stuff, just start making those first steps to get started. So that way, once you're ready to really, put your foot on the gas, you at least have the groundwork laid out for you to really start building something scalable.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. I think that's hit the nail right on the head there. I mean, if you can't really answer some simple questions about business or start an LLC, either you have to go talk to your parents, they should know how to do it, or find someone who does. I mean, that's rule one at the end of the day. Now, Ashad, did you find your network mostly through, like, did you go on social media to find a lot of your network? Did you find it through most of your mentorship?
So it was mainly my mentor, we all know, Miles, kind of, pushed me to get on Twitter, as we know, is X now. And I just started DMing everyone. Like, I think we all know who P Flips is. I think that was one of the first people I ever DM'd. I just started asking him questions. Like, nice. I just DM'd anyone that I saw that, like, okay, I could learn something from them. Or, this would be someone I would like to, be friends with in the future. And this, besides Amazon, just, someone I think that I could, like, connect with. So I just full-on DM everyone, follow everyone. And that's kind of how I built my network, just honestly cold DMs.
Did you feel like nervous about that at all? Like, did you get positive feedback from that and positive answers from that? Like, how did that go?
I wasn't really nervous because it's like, what's going to happen if they don't answer, right? It's not the end of the world. There's still multiple Amazon sellers out there you can reach out to. So, like, I think doing that really built my network because just everyone's really nice in the community. Most people just want to, like, help you out. They'll lead you in the right direction, and you can meet more people from them because they'll be like, oh, hey, I have a friend that just started, or, this person's in your area, reach out to them. So, like, I think that's been a really positive impact for my business so far.
Nice. Now, I think the main thing that we want to focus on, I know you've been mostly doing online arbitrage, and you're dabbling maybe in some wholesale. What does your kind of goals look like in terms of, in the future, what that split might look like between OA and wholesale?
I think potentially, I get a year from now, would like to be 75% in wholesale, 25% OA, because I do also have a 9 to 5, and I feel like OA, as we know, is like always looking for that next item or that next sale, and I feel like with wholesale, I kind of will have that more of, I guess you could say, automation, where it's more so, making a phone call. Obviously, it's not as easy as people think it is. You do have to call a bunch of suppliers, and you do have to do your research to make sure they're vetted and the item that you want is the right pricing. But I feel like once you get the ball rolling and you kind of have those like 3 to 5 suppliers or even brands, I think at that point it's just making phone calls like, hey, I need 1,000 units. Like, can you please get them out to me? Like, over sitting there for like 8 hours trying to find the product or checking out like a million times.
Yeah, 100%. What's holding you back from doing more wholesale? Is it just more capital intensive? Is that? one of the reasons?
More so, it's like right now, it's like I feel like since it's still my first year, I kind of still want to get more experience in OA.
Sure.
So that's why I'm kind of sticking with OA. I mean, I'm already jumped into doing a little bit of like wholesale contacting here and there.
Cool.
But I think Q1 I'll really start digging into wholesale more after this December.
I think that's really smart. I think a lot of people can like do OA for like 2 or 3 months and they're like, oh, like I'm ready for wholesale. But it's like wholesale is a whole different beast, and a lot has to do with just like when you buy product, like you can't like, and if you screw up, like that's on you. And some of these POs can like be on the larger side, like $2, $3, $4, $5,000, where OA products can be in like 2, 3, 400. And then if you make that mistake, you're only out maybe 2 to 400, or you can actually return the product and get your money back. Where wholesale, it's like, all right, now you're stuck with all this product. Now what do you do with it? And trying to unload that through different channels can be tough. So, I applaud your ability to be, patient there and continue working through OA. What do your goals look like for Q4 coming up? Q4 is an exciting time of year, and a lot of people like to show their orange bars. What are your goals looking like?
I don't really have an orange bar goal. I think I would say I more have a profit goal.
Okay.
Because I've really came to a point where I'm more focused on profit over bars. I mean, yes, I'm more like, volume is key in Amazon, because the more you sell, the more your account health goes up. You have more cushion when it comes to like, inauthentics, whatever it could be. You just have a bigger account health, so your account has a lesser chance of being at risk. But I would say, like, in terms of profit goal, I would like to reach around 30 to 40K in Q4. That's kind of my goal. We'll see. Right now, I think we're around 6 to 7 for this month. So if we can double or even triple that in December, I think we'll definitely reach the goal.
That's very nice. And now I'm curious to see how well you know your numbers. How much do you think you're going to have to spend to get that 30, 40K profit? If you had to you calculate through what
my guy's got to make a call to Amex.
I just got hit with a financial review to Amex. But no, I actually have like a whole cash flow like Excel sheet, so I have everything organized.
Nice.
I looked at like how much profit I will make just in this year, starting from when I started to now. It shows that, let's just hypothetically speaking, everything I have sells in December.
Yeah.
My total profit since I started would be 60K.
Oh, nice.
But
that's awesome.
I think so far in October I've spent like close to 75K.
That's awesome.
And I think that's around there's around 18,000 in profit.
Very nice.
So, and that's all the stuff that's coming in for December, right? And that's not even including merchant fulfilled. So
exactly.
When Black Friday comes around, we all know the OA people go absolutely crazy on FBM. So if I can cash flow properly, hopefully, I'll be able to spend more that time. Even if I can get another 30 to 40K sales value right there, that's another maybe 3,000 to 4,000 profit right there.
Absolutely.
So
that's really cool. Now, what kind of
are you doing a lot of FBM out of your house? Oh, sorry, Josh.
No, you're good.
You're doing some FBM yourself, right?
I probably would do all FBM myself. I honestly, it's not like to brag. It's more so like, for some reason, when I'm FBMing, it's like I have the buy box like no tomorrow. It's crazy. It's nasty. I don't know how, but it's wild.
Can get pretty aggressive really
I
quickly.
remember you were telling me about that before too, because you do 0-day handling time, right?
Yeah, it's not a good idea, but I switched to 1 now, but I sales still rolling.
I love it. He said, yes, I do 0-day handling time, and it's not a good idea.
I'm just saying.
What's the most amount of orders you had to fulfill in 1 day, 0-day handling time, and did you make the cutoff?
I think it was.
Because I know some of your SKUs are like super high volume.
Yeah, so back to school, I think I did it was like 200 in 1 day, and it was on a Sunday. So it was throughout the weekend, right? It was a Saturday and a Sunday, but I had to fulfill all of them on Sunday. So I think Sunday itself I had like 120. But combined,
you had to drop them off on Sunday, or you had to get them prepped on Sunday?
I got them prepped Sunday because I have a 9 to 5. So like,
right,
I gotta wake up, and do my actual job So it was like I had to prepare everything on Sunday. Obviously, I got help from my dad, but it was definitely stressful. Back to school was all. I think I was 90% FBM. Everything was
Wow.
FBM back to school. Even September. I think August to September, I was like all FBM. It was outrageous.
Now, talk to the people about like what credit card stack you use to get your spend out.
I only have 2 credit cards right now, so the Ink Unlimited and the
Okay.
Amex Plum. I do have, I would say, I have a personal 0%, but I only use that for the wholesale PO.
Gotcha.
But my main 2 cards are my Amex Plum and Ink Unlimited, which are
Nice.
currently maxed out.
Nice.
Pump to left
It is
PM, pay
risky.
'em down, baby.
It is risky, you know. Sometimes you get nervous because you're like, oh, I have like 75K on 2 credit cards. You know, anything can happen, right? So
Absolutely.
it is
Yep.
nerve
But
wracking,
you gotta-
but you know, I think we'll be fine.
Yep, you gotta know your numbers, know your ASINs, especially like I know with you, you have ASINs that you've been selling on for a while, so you know what the sales velocity is. You're not really just like guessing, right? And know your risk tolerance.
Yeah, I also had no like my buy box percentage, so like I kind of just based off how much I buy off that, right?
Correct.
And the thing is, I'm able to go across multiple SKUs, so I
Exactly.
can put like 500. I could buy like 3,000 units, but put it across 3 to 4 SKUs, and then we're chilling.
Absolutely.
And you went to school for finance, right? Did I get that right?
No, no.
No, engineering?
IT, information technology.
IT. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So I did IT, and then I minored in cybersecurity.
Gotcha. Okay, that's right.
Nice. Now talk to us a little bit more like about your business structure. Do you do all your prep in house? Do you do 3PL? And do you have any VAs that help you at all?
Yeah, so I think within the first 3 weeks, I got a prep center. I think I did 1 or 2 shipments myself, and after that, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I actually got a prep center. Shout out Big Cat Distributions. Everyone should join them. But
Nice.
I joined 3 weeks into starting, so I have a prep center. I just send everything there. I just onboarded a VA about a month ago. I think it's been a month
Nice.
and some change. Right now, just teaching basic admin. I'm still learning admin too, so disclaimer to all the people, even though like you're 5 months in, you won't be an expert. You're still learning new stuff every single day. Like my VA was asking me questions that I couldn't even answer. I was like, let me get back to you about that, because then I would have to go do the task that he did himself and then figure it out, because I'm giving him work that like I know how to do, but he's way more experienced than I am just by doing it once. So I've been delegating a lot of the admin stuff. Only so far, like 2 things. I'm slowly trying to build that up, because again, I still don't know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to learn, and then I'm recording it, so then he has an idea of what I'm doing. So I'll record anytime I'm doing something that looks like it'll be useful for him.
Nice. That's really cool.
What's an example of some of the admin tasks that you've handed off?
Making invoices. That is probably the most annoying thing for online arbitrage, is, you know, having your invoices ready for, you know, whatever it could be, an authentic complaint. You have the invoice ready to go, or whatever it may be. That, and also I use Vico for FBM shipping. So
How
you
is
gotta
that? I haven't.
input. It's honestly great. You use a credit card for it, right? So you get Vico credits. I think it's like 2%. It's 5% for like the first 2 months or whatever, but you get like 2% cash back with that. But then you're using your credit card. So if your credit card has like a 2% cash back on that, imagine spending like $4,000 on FBM and you're using your credit card for it, so you get that cash back as well. So technically, in the back end, your margin is higher if you do count. I don't count my cash back, but technically your margin is higher because you're getting the cash back. But the only downside is that I use Inventory Labs kind of as a way to, like, you know, think about my average P&Ls, because I think from my experience it seems to be the most accurate in terms of, like, you know, what your P&L should be, because I've done it myself and IO was like the closest to like my numbers. So I need my VA to put in the shipping. I was doing it at first, but it's like, imagine putting in like 1,000 shipments.
Oh.
So it's a lot of work. So started handing that off, and then the invoicing. Slowly, I'm gonna get him to do all the, what do you call it? My buy sheet. So I'm just slowly working him in. So I'm still trying to learn how to do, like, shipment discrepancies and all that, because I just noticed I had a bunch recently. So as I learn, I'm just going to keep on delegating it, and then eventually fully delegate all of admin to where if I have it inauthentic, I wake up the next morning and it's gone, or it's like about to be resolved.
Yeah, or you have like an appeal. Sorry, I get stuck on the word appeal for some reason. An appeal submitted before you even wake up. Yeah, that's huge.
So I don't think we asked yet what your revenue has looked like so far this year. Do you mind just kind of walking us through, like, from your first sale till now, like how your revenue's kind of grown?
Yeah, so I guess the last week of April, I think I did like 1,500 in sales. That was like my first ever week. May, I did go on vacation, so my sales were not as good as I wanted them to be. I think I was around like 6,800 from what I remember. And then June, I did about 25K in sales. I lost money that month. Disclaimer: just because I did 25K in sales does not mean I made 25K. Always shoot for a 10% net. That I would say is like a good baseline to think about when you're doing, especially an inventory-based business like Amazon. So like people that sharing all these orange bars are saying, "Hey, I made 5K today." They didn't make 5K. They probably made 500 to 1,000, determining their net margin. But July, I did 25K again, but that month was a good month in terms of margin. I think I was around 15% net. And then it was back to school, and I was shooting for the 100K, but I was low on capital. So I think I did around 65 to 66K at like a 11 to 12% net, like after everything. September came up right below 50K. Again, it was that, I think that month was a little bit higher in margin, like 13%. And this month we're going to end around like 42. So I'm around 212K in the last, I think, 4 or 5 months in sales.
That's solid work though for just getting started, plus it being a side hustle, right?
Yeah,
nothing to sneeze at. And then Q4, I think your December you'll hit that 6 figures for sure.
I think we should hope. I mean, I've been told that like inventory goes like this, like
it's ridiculous. It's like people are. I feel like, especially Black Friday leading up to that week before Christmas, it's like people just go on the Amazon seller app, close their eyes, and just hit buy. They don't even know what they're buying half the time, and they're just, it's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, it is.
Especially once you get closer to Christmas, and then if other sellers like the FBA sellers are either sold out or back ordered, I mean, you already get a high buy box share with FBM, but it'll get even higher. It's just gonna warn your dad.
My dad's not even here, so this time it'll be me and my friends.
Call in someone else. Call in some other family members.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
0-day handling time. Oh my
no,
God.
I switched to one.
Yeah.
I switched to one.
But you gotta get the fam in there to help during Q4. I just had my family helping me pack some FBA shipments last weekend.
You still do in-house. I forget. You still do in-house FBA. I forgot. You do in-house
We do
prep.
some. A lot still goes through the 3PL, but we have a local brand and supplier that we work with. So I just kind of like picked it up myself, prepped it myself. Honestly, there's something satisfying about doing a FBA shipment yourself every now and then.
I wish I could say the same. It's stressful as hell for me.
It is. Yeah, but we've done so many of them. It's like clockwork.
Yeah, you guys been in the game for what, 8 years now? I think, right? 7, 8 years.
Almost.
It's been that long, dude. That's
I feel
crazy.
old hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over 7. It's over 7.
Are you kidding me?
And I'm
It's insane.
6 months in.
But I tell people what I like to tell people is like, we've had our account for 7 years, but we've been taking it seriously in terms of like effort from a time perspective for 3.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was like both of our side hustles for a while, and then
and
you went full
barely a side hustle.
Yeah,
Because there was like at least a year and a half, 2 years in there where we weren't selling anything at all. We were just doing research for our next private label product.
that's also true.
Yeah, so it's not like we've been consistently selling the whole time.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I wish we were. We could be making a lot more money.
Dude, I just if there's if there's a regret that Josh and I have, it's
Yeah.
that we started private label. Even though I don't regret it because there's so much that we learned from that.
Yeah.
But our business would probably be 5 times as big if we had started with OA and then gone straight to wholesale.
Because we would have been like 2 years before Miles.
Yeah,
I mean-
Or
we
would have been with Miles as he was doing his thing. I mean,
Yeah,
we were
just-
in his first cohort, so that was interesting.
yeah, we just would have found more loops before they got blasted. and we would have been able to sell Colgate before Colgate from liquidators before Section 3s were a thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that must have been the prime time. That's why I'm sometimes like, why didn't I sell Amazon during COVID? Could have been buying Colgate from liquidators and making $200K a year in profit. Just
One of
from
my
selling-
favorite
crazy.
stories was, and I think this guy was on the Buy Box Bandits, but during COVID, he had a relationship with a restaurant distributor who was selling the little yeast packets that everyone was buying to make bread at home during lockdown. And he was saying he would buy like truckloads of them, and as soon as they hit the Amazon warehouse, they would like all sell instantly within like an hour, and it was like 200 to 300% ROI.
Oh,
It was just insane. I was like, those are the opportunities we missed, but there'll be something like that again, I hope.
yeah.
I guess another disclaimer I want to throw out there is just because you do like 10K profit in a month, don't pull all that. Don't think that you get to pull all that money out, because again, this is an inventory based business. So yes, you see people saying, hey, I made 20K profit this month, but I hope so they're not pulling that much money out. I would say just take the money you need to live and reinvest. So when you get to like a certain goal, right? Like let's say your goal is to do 400K sales a month at a net 10% net, and you get to that point and you have the capital, then yeah, take out that 40K if you want to and invest it somewhere else. But I feel like until you don't get to that goal that you want in terms of sales and profit, I think you should at least reinvest 50 to 75% of it. If you don't need it, try to invest 75 to 90%. I would still say take some profit out every month, because you want to know that you're profiting, right? You don't want to just reinvest everything, because then you don't even know if you're making money at that point. So I would say take out 10% every month if you're a new person and you don't need to live off of it. But then when you get to a higher scale, you can take out 50, 75, however much you need.
Also agreed there, for sure. If there's one thing I could do differently, and I think I've shared this on previous episodes too, but I would have stayed at my full-time job a little bit longer before I went full-time into the business, just because it's like once you're taking out that cash for payroll, you're not putting it into inventory. And so it does slow your growth, especially if it's a large chunk of what your profit is. But like you said, if you're able to reinvest the majority of those profits into buying new, good, profitable inventory, your growth will just be faster.
Yeah, or even replanning the same products and being able to buy more
Yep.
quantity, right? Because we know how, I guess this could be like a tip I learned. The way buy boxes work, from my experience, is like the more stock you have, there's a higher chance you will get the buy box. So like before you were buying 500 units and now you're able to buy 1,500, buy the 1,500, but just know your metrics, right? How long did it take you to sell the 500? And then taking that metric and then deciding, hey, if I sold 500 before, I could probably sell 1,000. Because if I have that much stock, I'll get the buy box more. That's just from my personal experience, where I've sold an item 550 in a month, and I doubled down and I was able to sell like 800 to 900 in a month. So I just learned that, like, yeah, don't be that person where you see an item selling 5K a month, you buy 5K units, but just gauge your risk. Because some people can buy the 5K units, that they see 5K sales a month and they'll buy 5K units. But just gauge your risk, look at your previous data, and just after that, just loop it.
Yep, 100%. And the longer that you're on a listing too, you'll get more buy box share, assuming that customers are buying the product and are satisfied with the product. If customers are buying and always returning or leaving bad reviews, you're not going to get more buy box. That definitely factors in.
Yeah.
But I mean, Josh, we have that experience too, where listings we were on for like well over a year, we could consistently pull the buy box price up like $1, and people are undercutting us by a couple dollars just to try and bully us off the buy box, but to no avail.
Yes.
We had a stranglehold.
I've noticed that myself, where like, I guess this is another tip for FBM people, or even FBA. If you're going to be replenning a product and you're low on stock, just raise your price up and hold the higher price until you buy more stock. Because that's what I've been doing, where like I was low on stock FBM and I ordered more units, and once the more units came in, I dropped my price to the proper price and blew through like all the units again. So if you do have that strength in the buy box, just try to stay on that listing, as Kaj said, as long as possible.
Exactly. Yep. Well said.
Indeed. All right, Kaj, any other questions?
Nope. I'm good to land the plane.
All right, beautiful. All right, Ashad, where can people go find you on the internet? What social medias do you use the most?
I use Twitter and Instagram, both pretty active.
Okay.
I think both of them are at Asharathad. I could be wrong about my Instagram, but if you search my name up, I'm sure you'll find me on one of them.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, guys, if you have a question, especially if you're new to the game, go give Ashad a shout out and ask him all the good questions. All right, everybody, thank you for listening. If you got value from the episode, give it a like and subscribe to Ecom Unlimited so you can stay updated on all of our new content. And if you're on YouTube, give us a follow and leave a rating. And if you're on Spotify, it would help us out a ton if you could give us a rating as well. And we will see you on the next one.